Here's how it's going to work, Mr. President. We let you worry about the domestic agenda, all the touchy-feely stuff. But when it comes to national security, Strike makes all the hard decisions. Do you remember the Civil War of '82, which turned Mexico into a Warsaw Pact client state?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. There never was any Mexican Civil War.
That's the point. There would have been if Strike hadn't interceded. You see, sir, we measure our success by the wars that never happened. Get my drift?
But I thought I was in charge. Your organization undermines the chief executive.
Sir, I'm here to explain how things work. If you don't want to play ball, I'm sure the vice president will. We've had to deal with that very unpleasant situation before.
If my records are right, you are in here for cyber piracy, violation of the Secrecy Act, digital vandalism.
I know why I'm in jail. What I don't know is why you're here.
Why did you commit these crimes?
Man, I was just bored. I didn't hurt nobody. They threw me in jail because I embarrassed them. What do you want anyway?
Listen, son. We need somebody to sys-op the most highly sensitive computer net in the world. We need a hacker to infiltrate enemy security and to keep the enemy out of ours.
Is this a joke?
This is the farthest thing in the world from a joke. Sir, what do you suppose the president is going to say when he finds out we've got a convict running the most highly secured net in the world?
Who cares?
Sir, would you care to comment about reports of your involvement with an illegal renegade operation known as Strike?
I can neither confirm nor deny the existence of such an organization.
Is it true that your organization routinely violates enemy sovereignty, carries out black bag operations and covers them up, all with no regard for the will of Congress, the President, or the American people?
No comment.
Sir, is it also true that your motto is, quote, "We measure our success by wars that don't happen"?
I don't see what you're driving at, Ms. Gray.
I want to work with you. I'd be perfect. You've already got the weapons, you've already got the intel. What you need is the third leg of the power triad, the media. I'm here to give it to you.
Is she for real, or is she another wannabe?
She's very much for real. She was recruited overseas and is credited with several highly effective covert operations.
Working for whom?
KGB, CIA, Russian mob, SAS, Mossad, Hamas.
I don't get it.
She works for herself. She's good, lethal, and to the best of our knowledge, never betrayed a trust.
Hire her.
Smart armor reminds me of watching a sci-fi movie as a kid. Seriously, it thinks, it heals, it learns, self-replicates. Just face it, it's alive. Technology imitating biology, reality imitating art. It's like there won't be any more edges anymore. It's like everything will become everything and indivisible from everything else. And I think that's kind of cool. Oh, sorry if I'm rambling, General. I'll shut up.
If this thing works half as well as the hype, I'll talk to the security czar about getting you sprung.
Well, check it out.
What's the status of StrikeNet intel?
We believe we have the most sophisticated data retrieval, analysis, and execution web in the world.
And the convict?
He missed his parole meeting last month to install the network search engine.
I've got a pardon lined up for him. It's an embarrassment to have him behind bars.
Not necessary. We just converted maximum security into Strike's nerve center. It is a distraction-free zone.
General, what you say your name is?
General Earl.
You got a first name?
General. You're working for the military now, Hack. That's how it works.
How come you get to call me Hack and I have to call you General?
We can switch you over to private if you want us to.
No, I stick with Hack.
We have a house rule around here. When our operatives accumulate 6 close-in kills, we get rid of them. I don't know why it is, but the number is 6. When somebody kills once, it still means something to them. They turn to ice after number 6. Maybe it's the number of fingers you have on your hand. It goes over one hand and doesn't matter anymore.
How many close-in kills do you have, Andrea?
5.
Let's keep it to that. We aren't killers, we're doctors. We spot a disease and we cut it out before it spreads. In the broad medical spectrum of things, your chopper is a scalpel.
I've been in strike longer than there has been a strike. I was born overseas, so I speak several languages. I spied for our side, and sometimes it was more than spying. It was active demolition. They showed me the ropes, then we went up the ladder. The press corps idea came later when I was doing wet ops. We discovered that every dictator wants to be a star, and they can't be a star without a camera, so reporters can get to people nobody can get to. If I could talk to them, I could kill them. The hard part was always getting away with my secret identity intact.
The security czar wants this one dark. 1 chopper, 2 pilots.
Sounds like we have 0 chance of asset return.
Skip the euphemisms, Andrea. Let's use the old term. Suicide mission.
You think the commander will do it?
Of course. The bigger the risk, the more enthusiastic he is.
Synchronicity threshold crossed at 0100 hours. General, some bad business going down.
Break it into components, Hack.
Epicenter Crimea 1. Millions from Swiss bank accounts are flooding the region, and 2, an unknown military force pops up.
You've linked the money to those troops?
Could I prove it in court? No. Do I know it's a link? Yes.
Keep going.
They also pumping tons of funky ex-Soviet hardware into a terrorist training camp, and finally, we got a signal from our missing pilot, Nick Arnold.
I buy it. We've got a crisis. Andrea.
The obvious candidate is Yuri Vatsisnov, former head of the KGB and the real shadow man behind this conspiracy. We're running worst-case projections, but as always, our main objective is to stop this war before it happens.
TrackNet will download additional intel as needed.
If you crash, jettison ID, hit auto-destruct, render body non-identifiable.
A lot of random events seem to be adding up. The black market's buzzing, and somebody's running the Blue Play special on weapons. Troops are on the move everywhere. Our operatives in the region have been methodically compromised. I've got a serious digital vibe that a well-orchestrated conspiracy is being played.
We have monitored repeated use of the phrase shadow man to describe the hardliner leading this Eastern European conspiracy. We suspect it is a Russian named Yuri Vatsisnov. If it is, he has a human rights code that would appall Dracula. We are crossing into a very unstable political environment. Proceed as if you are walking around in a powder keg with a lit cigar. Your slightest misstep could not only unravel the entire peace process, but ignite regional or even a global war.
Commander, forward arm and refuel points are ready and waiting. Utilize our resources as necessary.
I go on air with this in 1 hour, and I don't want to look like a liar, so keep the scene clean.
These are the Easter eggs on this treasure hunt. Bring them to a landing zone safe and sound. They're fragile and valuable. Here's the bonus prize. Once at our LZ, the Easter Bunny will automatically monitor and repair your armor while the eggs unload. Once you leave our safe house, you're flying solo, Commander. Although, Nick should be able to get a little commando action going on the ground. Nick Arnold. He was the best rotor-head Strike had until you came along. Now you do the piloting, and he does the groundwork. Mr. Arnold has also developed a nasty habit of getting captured. Seems you're gonna make a career out of bailing him out. This is the ultimate surgical weapon, and we're the only kid on the block who has one. It's an auto-loading, passenger-hauling, self-repairing wonder. And for faster pickup service, you could even increase your winch speed by snagging a hidden quick ladder. Faster winching the dudes and supplies mean less time as a sitting duck. Hey, Commander, best idea with this stuff is to come between it and its AAA. That way, if they want to shoot you, they risk nailing their own guys. Enemy listening post, Commander. Wax both days before hacking up the valve.
Take cover!
Strike. This is Nick Arnold. I've been taken prisoner with several other agents. They're having some not-so-nice Q&A sessions and using the firing squad like it's St. Valentine's Day massacre. Now get us out quick! Or give us a Viking funeral.
Compromise the buildings, but be careful around the prisoners. Think of it as cracking open the egg without smashing the yolk.
All friendlies. Maybe one's got a bottle opener.
If you studied your history, you'd know what Napoleon did at Austerlitz. do the same thing. Shatter the ice, and the choppers will take care of themselves. Commander, the concept is to free the hostages, not kill them. Keep your shots clean and clear. Do not use excessive force.
This is an LZ. Treat it like your mother's house. If you find enemy quick ladders, you'll slide your POWs in and out pronto.
See, we got a radio, white walls, anti-tank launches, all the extras. Wanna do me a little groundwork? I'll catch up with you later. careful, buddy. ZSU's on the prowl up here on the mountain. Shoot first. Forever hold your peace. I'm holding my position. They're setting up a full-on blitz. Should make life interesting while you raise some hell at that prison compound. Gave him a hard goodbye. No thanks to this cheap jack enemy ordnance. Now, if you're not too busy, why don't you swing by and extract me? And don't take all day about it either. Hey, Strike. Strike, I could use a hand here. I mean it. I'm being overrun like highway roadkill. Jesus! If you don't haul Heine, they're gonna have to write one of those bad letters to my family.
Probable location of Shadow Man's key offices. Brief them once you've sanitized the site. Don't look back, Commander. Treat their command car like a soda can. Shake it up, pop the top, and watch the contents come squirting out.
Next time you take some R&R, tell me, okay? This took so long, I got squatters' rights on this property.
Heads up, I heard this bad boy calling up reinforcements from the barracks on the west end of the lake. Sounds like he's trying to protect something. Right. Singing Boris here, who used to have the thankless task of castle security, made the mistake of carrying his timetable around. Now it seems we could take the castle while his guards are down at the local tavern getting stewed, which should be right about now. So let's do it. Looky here. Seems this gentleman just ordered an attack on our supply drops. I'm appalled. We'll have to report this to the Board of Tourism.
Careful, Commander. The southern edge of the camp appears to be a firing range. Don't give them live target practice.
We finally have blue sky and activation. Review Mission 6 briefing.
We believe Shadow Man is about to transmit from the villa. Get to your position, then drop Nick off with backpack explosives and vape the place. The vultures will sort out the remains.
Training camp commander with a bad case of lockjaw and a blueprint. Now what do we make of this? I got an idea. Head for the northeastern end of the terrorist camp, chuck a few rockets into the power plant there and see what happens.
There's a first aid kit stashed in the northeast quad. New radar alerts are real handy. In the jungle, we didn't get a warning till a shell would come by. You're in the soup zone. I'll tap you in with thermal imaging. Evil helicopter!
Gentlemen, release the vulture. The enemy is falling. Checkmate. 3 of those.
Pull out. The area's lighting up like a slot machine.
fellow was chock full of information. He says there's a power station in the middle of town that needs to be switched off, and there's a secret skeet trail through the woods south of the villa that isn't watched too often. Usually used for moving pretty girls around for the generals. So we got a ringside seat at the main event.
A freak forest fire has swept across a wide section of Crimea early this morning. The flames spread quickly to a local airport and even engulfed a resort villa. Eyewitnesses report seeing pillars of smoke from miles away. Though details are not clear at this time, it appears this disaster was caused by an abandoned campfire.
Sorry to interrupt. Now I don't make the news, I just report it. We got a problem.
Which is?
A mothballed Soviet fleet is making for the Black Sea.
It's Grand Theft aircraft carrier, and Vladimir Ceausescu will be behind it.
Shadow Man implicated.
Yeah, it looks like it. Now I followed the missing rubles. He's buying mercenary forces and hiring Yahoo generals. Vlad pops a nuke, and Soviet hardliners are swept back in to restore order.
So with the Russian army demoralized and the West too timid to wade in, Shadow Man runs the show. What assets do you show in that area?
Just one, a dock worker named Ahmad. Now he's ex-SAS, but his cover's ethnic Russian.
Commander, stop those ships before we hit the Black Sea. Fail, and we go strategic.
They got Ahmad, and that makes me very mad. Okay, it's payback time. This mission is not, I repeat, not for the faint of heart.
I've been around way too long to fall for that one, Arnold. Break off attack, Commander. You are not, I repeat, not to support a rogue mission.
Drag, I just don't seem to be able to hear anything you're saying. I hope it wasn't important.
I lost him. Enemy jamming. Commander, don't even consider following him.
Let me tell you how serious this is. If Vlad pulls this off, he's got the nuclear tools to topple the Russian government, start a regional war, and push it all the way to global. In short, if he keeps those ships, he'll be talking terms and we'll be taking dictation. Vlad Ceausescu is a bloodthirsty glutton who feasts on the carnage of ethnic strife. He lives as much in the 15th century as the present, and wants to use weapons of Armageddon to fight his petty wars. Do not underestimate him. He has access to first-rate intel and acres of ex-Soviet equipment. Thus far, he has been known to use nerve gas, anthrax, abduction, and even worse on those who disagree. If there's an atrocity this guy hasn't committed, it doesn't have a name. If you're shot down in his territory, save the last bullet for yourself.
The ship larvae have turned into moths and they're migrating.
If they make it to the Black Sea, we have World Wars 3, 4, and 5.
Operationally, it's very simple, Commander. Kill them before they reach the happy hunting ground. We're slamming together an operation. Supplies are flying in, but make no mistake, Commander. We all live or die based upon your actions. These overrun local forces are the good guys. Don't let them become the dead guys.
Get them to a landing zone, and your Apache can auto-analyze and repair its armor damage while they unload. If I told you we had this mission all planned out, you would probably know I was lying. We making this one up as we go. Just tune in on the intel, and we'll get you home for dinner.
Arnold's like an old riverboat card shark. You can never tell what's going on behind those eyes. He's gambled with death so many times that he's got a regular seat at his poker table. One day he's not going to beat the odds. Just make sure you don't go down with him. It would be a devastating blow to this organization.
This is the real deal. A Super Apache, the nastiest weapon in the whole arsenal of democracy. A predator on the attack and lethal on defense. All you need is the skill to kill.
This is one of your LZs, Commander. It is not well defended. Don't let the enemy follow you home.
Easiest way to poke out the electronic eye is to attack from the direction they're not looking.
Not close! Move! Heads up. I'm getting radar emissions from the next hill. Travel with care. Intel. Vlad's boys are assaulting the northwest sector fuel depot.
This here's the granddaddy of all targets. Prime grade, sizzling with choppers. Cook this baby, your name will be in the history books. If you don't munch this morsel here and now, partner, I have no respect for you.
Ahmad speaking. I'm in cell aboard ship of barbarian Vlad. Do not know what ship. They are all the same tasteless gray. It is flagship because of pompous peacock strut of officers.
Those are sub-pens, Commander. No reason to be bashful. Kill them before they move. Convoy contains friendlies and supplies. Shoot to stall, not kill. Enemy radar down, but only static on Ahmad's channel. Can't pinpoint Vlad's ship.
Commander, I just found out where Vlad's taking captured Yagarian troops.
Be advised, Commander. This is not a campaign objective. Do not lose sight of the military objective.
It'd be good karma, Commander. After all, Vlad isn't known for a sparkling human rights record.
BMP troopers dismounting, heading north and south, Chief. They're going after innocent Ugarians.
Interdiction mission, Commander. Disrupt hostiles by destroying 3 convoys and 3 cargo ships. Hit the rear areas for insurance.
Be sure to nail the pilots they're taking to Kiev, so you won't have to fight them in the air where they're really dangerous.
Mission is straightforward. Neutralize picket radars to give you a clear run at the Kiev. Objective is to take down their radar mast. You need not destroy entire vessels.
There's one pile of ammo that ain't gonna hurt anybody. Score 1 for the good guys.
Easy, Nick. The commander could have used that ordnance.
Uh-oh. I got some trouble. Talk later.
One size fits all.
Gentlemen, I am on a roll.
Wrong ship, Nick.
The way I see it, the only good enemy ship is a burning enemy ship.
Way to go. Kiev is now sitting there stark naked. Head on in and nail that wheel. But move in fast before she scrambles the rest of her choppers.
Excellent shooting, Commander. Well played. Great stuff. I'm getting you on replay right now.
thought Shadow Man was dead.
And I thought StrikeNet was impenetrable.
And he's got Nick's strike out.
Well, jam the signal.
You never find Nick's body.
You know the protocol. Down pilots will have explored the Kiev. They could reveal a weak point.
If you splash any rotor boys, rescue them. They know that Vlad wouldn't. Gratitude loosens a lot of tongues.
We're in a critical phase, Commander. Enemy must be deprived of this nuclear threat. Hoist the ICBMs up and release them into the ocean. Our SEAL teams will recover them.
Oh yeah, and Chief, don't even consider shooting the nukes. We got a pest problem, Commander. Enemy roaches are running all over the western LZ. You better get over there and stop them before it's too late.
This is Ahmad. I have escaped my captors. I now search for Flair. Keep lookout for me. I want to get off this stench-filled pigsty as soon as possible. I will find camera and send more.
Diplomatic immunity here.
You cannot sustain more hits. You cannot sustain more hits.
Thing.
Winch analysis complete. Total confidence that Apache will hoist ICBM. I think. Commander. One straight shot and we've got mushrooms. Subs are heading west, just like sundown.
Hey, Chief, we've airdropped supplies in the extremely likely case that you'll need them. And not to be missed are some magnetic depth charges. Pop them in the water near sub and watch it fizz.
We need to slow the enemy advance, Commander. To accomplish this, cripple the destroyer and make it a roadblock.
Tactical advice. You gotta pick this sucker apart. Come in slewing side to side. Target radar towers to disable alert zones, then take out the AAA gun turrets. Drop the anchor last. Oh yeah, don't waste a missile on the ship's hull. You ain't got nothing that'll even bruise it.
Ahmad sending. This is an update. I still elude their donkey clutches. This rust bucket is hidden in a dock somewhere behind metal doors. When ship leaves, I will send you a visual signal to show you my location.
Hack, can you pinpoint him?
Sorry, General, but they put up so much ECM garbage that I couldn't find Russia on the map right now.
Go devil with you!
Okay, Commander, I now have a visual on Destroyer Vinograd, but not for long. It's about to escape into the Black Sea. Damn, I got more jamming. You gonna have to maintain a visual.
Make no mistake, Commander. No matter what the cost, that destroyer must be stopped.
My nifty decoder ring finally re-reads the rest of that earlier thermal broadcast from Crimea. Listen up.
Vladimir, you disgrace your ancestors. First I find you a fleet, and now I give you launch codes. All I ask is that you give me a bloodbath by launching a warhead. Let them all die in a Viking funeral.
Maybe I'm jumpy, but I'll take that as a threat, Commander.
This is priority one, Commander. Vlad can win this war with just one nuclear sub. Let's not give him the chance. We have airdropped additional depth charges.
Hey, Commander, the transponders are as live as you'll ever be, and they paint a very pretty picture of a very ugly subject. On your screen are the subs on the prowl.
through ship graveyard. They're gaining speed. Picking up speed. Crews must be learning the hat trick. 3 subs down. Outstanding, Commander.
Look like our boy Ahmad is delivering the groceries. We pinpointed Vlad on the flagship Kara.
Strike gets one shot of him. The 6th Fleet gets the second one. We don't want war, Commander. Let's get it right the first time.
Our boy Ahmad sure picked the prize-winning location. The Kara is loaded with autocannon, Gatling guns, and SAMs. I suggest a hit and run, Commander.
I am near the bridge of Barbarian flagship. The murderer Vlad is aboard. Burn it, and the world is a better place. I have found life raft canister to avoid martyrdom.
Initiate your attack, avoiding Ahmad's life raft.
Yeah, and watch out for the big sandbox missiles as you finish off the bridge.
Reserves very low. If you got supplies, use them. Careful, Chief. If you die, we all lose. Praise be to you. You have the grace of a pelican.
Thank you for, how you say, saving my butt. You won't believe what I found. It will astound and amaze you. See for yourself.
We have achieved bingo, and we have acquired the landing craft.
So, you're planning an invasion. What's Vlad up to now?
If you guys do your job, we won't find out the hard way. I'm counting on you.
Take a heads up at what our mod just loaded on StrikeNet.
Terrible news. Vlad plans surprise invasion using landing craft. They will hit southern end of the bay.
If those tanks establish a beachhead, it'll spark a regional war. Commander, don't let it happen on my watch.
Jack mechanic. Snag the repair kit on this boat when you need a patch job. Fire, it'll be like a 73mm shotgun blast. Sequence your attacks, Commander. Get them as they unload. You hover, and it's over, Chief. The armor's funky. Disengage. Reserve's very low. If you got supplies, use them.
We just set up a third LZ for you, complete with wine and cheese.
Use the supplies to get home, Commander, and be careful. We don't want to fumble on the 1-yard line.
Give the good guys a hand before they're wiped. reserves very low. If you got supplies, use them.
In a resounding affirmation of the New World peace process, today pacifists symbolically scuttled the Soviet mothball fleet, located in a small inlet near the Black Sea. The leader of Pax Eternus, or Peace Forever, said in a message to this network that their gesture was one of many to be carried out in celebration of the end of the Cold War.
Iraqi forces are invading southern Russia, and it looks like they're converging. I just don't know where. Uh-oh, yes I do. An ex-Soviet chemical weapons plant.
Good, good. We've been hoping for another crack at General Savak.
No doubt he will use those weapons, and Shadow Man will be sure Moscow gets full credit.
Commander, you'll have allies all around that mountain fortress. But if it falls, there'll be nothing but sand between that madman and chemical weapons. And remember, if you do not think, you will not win.
Savak is a bull in a china shop. If he gets weapons of mass terror, every tin pot dictator and prancing peacock is going to invade their neighbor, thus aiding and abetting the Shadow Man. Experts are divided as to if Savak is a true religious fanatic or whether he creates visions to serve his political ends, as did the madman you might remember from an earlier strike campaign. Whether he is a religious zealot or cynical manipulator, no one doubts he is willing to fight to the last drop of everybody's blood but his own.
Militarily, that's vital. Savak is a coward. He'll be nowhere near the line of battle. He hides among his elite democratic guards until he can ride in triumph when victory is assured. The many films we see of him acting brave in battle are, in fact, stage photo shoots. We are grossly outnumbered, outgunned, and outflanked, but we have two things going for us: the terrain and the locals. The battlefield is jagged mountains ripped with deep gorges and valleys. Rock slides will slow the enemy advance. And the locals are as rugged as the mountains they live in. They are defending their homeland and will fight to the death. If you master the terrain and our allies, we just might have a chance. You know the tenets of air-land battle: initiative, depth, agility, and synchronization. They've got the initiative and depth. We've got the agility. Synchronization is what you can create with Ahmad's relatives.
You neglect one fact, Earl. I have access to StrikeNet, and with it, I shall strike you.
He's not kidding. He's downloading the coordinates of all key battlefield locations to his rocket artillery.
He might have access to the net, but he doesn't have access to your mind, Commander. Think, and you will win.
Some clerk accidentally shipped our armor crates to the third world. Problem is, they don't have any use for them, so they've been taking up space in the bazaar. Cruise in there and haggle a winch discount. Super Apache is equipped with an onboard distillery for local petrol. Plays havoc with the engine, but if you're desperate, this thing will probably run on lighter fluid. If you desperately need some ammo, you can always borrow it. Be careful though. The local homebrew doesn't pack the wallop of ex-Soviet stuff, but it will do in a pinch.
Deploy Ahmad's relatives to drop points, and their loyal troops will soon follow. The skill is in getting the right relative to the right place. They have a 2-millennia-old family feud going on. If the wrong relatives cross paths, they'll fight each other instead of Savak.
We didn't design the Super Apache for tank transport, but you can do it if you want to move friendlies around. Just fly up and hoist. Don't try this at home, kids.
Ahmad is an ex-SAS commando who's been on a lot of missions for us. This is the first time we've cut him loose on his own home turf. He's related to a number of people here, including Savak. Therefore, you can assume he harbors a strong personal agenda. Let's hope it's the same as ours.
To understand what is happening here, you must understand the history of my family. We have been at war since time began. Our lives would be nothing without war. We fight to live, we live to fight. Sometimes we die. Part of our problem is location. Our mountains are in path of every invader who wants to cross from south to north. Therefore, when invaders come, we have choice, to fight or submit. And that choice is not a choice. This is my sister Delilah. Like the female fox, she is the most vicious of all my relatives. That is why my evil uncle Savak fears her the most. My other uncle Nimrod fears her too, for he once tried to marry her. She was so disgusted that she swore to kill him if she ever saw him again. You may believe this threat or not, but believe me, Uncle Nimrod does. Uncle Nimrod is what you in America would call playboy. Never is he seen without a beautiful woman clinging to his arm. In war, Uncle Nimrod's passion is not matched by his skill. But he has good tanks and troops who share his lust for glory. Nimrod is vain and arrogant. His costume is of his own making. For these reasons, we know him as Strutting Rooster. Nimrod fears Delilah and he hates my cousin Bessus. Because Bessus once took a woman from him. He had challenged Bessus to a duel, but Bessus rejects him. If he sees Bessus, he will kill him. I have little to say about Bessus, because Bessus himself says little. He is a quiet man who has settled down to become a simple farmer. We laugh at this. Who would farm when there are men to be killed? We call him the grain stalk. He calls us nothing. He simply tends his crops.
The first order of business is to slow the immediate threat. Buy time to think and react. Destroy their mobile supplies to bog down the large formations, then squeeze them through the terrain single file. Finally, use the locals to tag team them in the passes. Destroy the personnel carriers in successive phases. Target the anti-aircraft first to disable the immediate enemy threat. Then rake APC formations with chain gun fire to slow and weaken vehicles for the local defenders to finish off. Hit supply vehicles at every opportunity. Attacking an armored formation from the front is suicidal, so come in from behind. Disable their AA support before engaging the tank's main guns. Whatever you do not get downrange of this ordnance.
The general's putting him out. Those rockets will chew you up and spit you out like a big metal loogie.
Cut their rate of fire by taking out all ammo trucks before engaging the launch vehicles. This is Savak's recon. Low priority threat. Waste minimal time and ammo on them until the primary threat is neutralized. Then your chain gun will shred their thin skins like tin foil. It's nearly impossible to nail Savak while he's protected by his elite guard. Wait until he gets cocky late in the battle and sends them out for the killing blow. When they roar away, he'll be vulnerable.
Don't pop Savak right away. And when you do, first take out the guard's ammo trucks. No ammo, no reload. Always knock them off from behind. So any remaining AA missiles can't be used against you.
If you need to slow down the elite guard's advance, feign an attack on Savak to draw him back. When it's time to wrap this thing up, Commander, take Savak out in style. I recommend Strike's own version of Scorched Earth to ensure no dictator ever tries this again.
We are in luck. The battle has not yet joined. Fuel dump as last resort and bathe them with fire.
The enemy has reached the first passes. They will overrun our armor drops and frontline defenders shortly, so act now.
Take vessels to an observation post. Plant him there and the whole army will grow. Smart move.
Look! Uncle Savak's troops come, like the locusts swarm to the fields.
Now he will have to feel his way like a serpent in the dark.
This is foolishness. We can do nothing while the enemy swarms around our homes. If you do not deploy us soon, we shall act for ourselves.
Why do you let us wither here? Savak's jackals stalk my land, and our forces are trapped at my front gate. Unleash me like a lioness upon her prey.
I can fight well from this position. When my army joins me, we shall smite the enemy. This will be a day of glory.
Look for loose rock formations on the hillsides and hit them. Landslides, block paths.
My men go into battle. We fight for our homes and family.
My hired you are a master diplomat. You have all a family fighting Savak.
This is a fine place to fight. Soon my army will arrive, and we will tear them apart like a pack of lions.
This is as bad as my first one. April 1962. Special Forces assigned to the CIA. We landed at the Bay of Pigs. Our mission was to overthrow Castro. Fighting was fierce. We knew the Air Force was coming. Problem was they never did. We were all killed or captured. My survival was an embarrassment to the politicians. Luckily, somebody I didn't know
Brought me home. That was a security job.
He doesn't believe in placing war powers into the hands of politicians. Neither do I.
Nimrod here. I am engaging the enemy.
I got a feeling about those tits, Commander. Investigate with your chain gun.
The juggernaut is stopped! I shall not give it time to regroup.
Mission accomplished. The enemy force is shattered. I, Nimrod, am triumphant.
The observation post in Pass 3 is destroyed. How much longer will you force me to destroy this valley?
Peasant Bessus has fallen. I shall mourn him.
Renowned Savak.
Besorgt and sell many valuable things. Shoot them and let us see if we get bargain.
Resistance shall cost Nimrod his home, his family, all that he knows, and all that he loves.
So fine, our loudest mouths have been silenced. I do not want to pass through Gate of Paradise riding on a missile. Relatives put this here to fight Savak, but no time to use it.
comes with a price, Commander. This will cost you the oil well behind Pass 1.
Ah! Fuel! Relatives must have moved this to keep it from Savak. There are Uncle Savak's personal bodyguards. Death to them! His anti-aircraft is deadly, Commander. Soviets perfected it on my people. My praise to you, Commander. You have sent them to the death they so richly deserve.
Gotta see a replay on that one. That looked real cool.
found armor crate and moved it here. We must thank them.
hand of my enemy, I thank you, Commander. You proved the theory of what information society does to industrial one. Many times invaders come through these mountains and raid, but this time we see truth. Knowledge is power.
The controversial Iraqi strongman Sadisa Savak is believed dead as a result of a freak automobile accident today. His devoted followers have jammed roads and lit huge funeral pyres to mourn his passing.
This is Nick Arnold. I'm being held prisoner in some old Soviet sanitarium. Get me out of here quick before the Shadow Man gets back to me.
Got him. He's in the heart of Transylvania.
Isn't that a radiation zone?
Yeah, this place is hot. Touch those radioactive punches, and you'll never need a nightlight.
Sanitarium is a polite term for prison where Mad Dr. Ukrainian keeps people he needs.
Commando, liberate Nick and the patients in that hospital, especially Comrade Ivan Urelia.
Yeah, Ivan is ex-Soviet air cav, and he's uniquely qualified.
Ivan irradiated himself while dumping sand on Chernobyl, saving millions of lives.
It's simple. Ivan defects and snags the core. You dump it in a pit, and we quicker recruits missiles.
Sounds easy, but button up. This one's a monster. This looks like an easy one. Just avoid being fried and you're home free, at least so it seems. If the Shadow Man's behind it, expect trouble. Big time.
Mad Dr. Ukrainian purchased his thugs by selling uranium to the highest bidder and then turned the region into a playpen for every renegade, desperado, and loser in the ex-empire.
We also know that a lot of modern equipment has come into this area and none is left. Expect to unearth it in the worst place at the worst time.
If there's a hell on Earth, this is it. Transylvania's been the hot potato in so many power struggles that there's nothing left worth fighting for. Funny thing is, it doesn't seem to stop people from wanting it, especially Mad Dr. Ukrainian.
Don't strain yourself trying to spare the local armed forces. Ukrainians' thugs are worthy candidates for collateral damage. They imprisoned Ivan and his compatriots and are probably holding Nick for the Shadow Man.
Commander, keep an eye out for friendlies to rescue. We'll get political points for saving the meltdown victims, and it'll look great on the evening news.
These UN guys are handpicked from the best armies of the world. Problem is, politicians never let them show what they can do. If you count on them to win your ground battle, Commander, you're gonna end up in a body bag. Ivan should be dead after the radiation hit he took. It does not come as a surprise that he has a serious preoccupation with death.
Aurelia is a major medical mess. He's been down a long time, but hasn't finished the job. Might be that Ukrainian is giving him an experimental treatment that actually works.
The important thing is that Ivan is now dedicated to enforcing his own new world order, to make sure that what happened to him won't happen to anybody else.
Hey, I got a real cool goodie for you if you could find it. Now, rumor has it that the Ruskies were experimenting with an anti-tank railgun in this area. If you find it, winch it up. Should be a blast.
We don't know precisely where in the building Ivan Aurelia and his compatriots are locked up, but we do know that they are guarded by poorly motivated troops. Locate the headquarters, disable their radar, and shell the place. And you should be able to persuade somebody to tell you. Once you've dropped Aurelia's scientists into the salt mines, it'll take them a while to prep. Don't wait around. Every minute you take is another minute for Ukrainian to put his troops on alert. Checklist. 1. Take out the power station, disable the alert zone, and hobble the SAMs. 2. Be careful not to bump the reactor housing. 3. Extract Ivan before you hook the core.
Quick word of advice, Commander. Those patches are ramped to the max with radiation. Fly over them and they'll munch your armor like tortilla chips. Avoid the center of the valley.
We're airlifting in the laser designator now. Watch for Heinz and ZSUs lurking around the drop zone. Approach from southeast and nail the radar truck near the tree-lined river first.
Strike! This is Nick Arnold. I can transmit, but I cannot receive. I'm being held in some torture chamber from a grade B horror flick. Make that grade C.
convoy heads towards graveyard or pit. Scumdogs are up to heinous evil. Best time for us to spend as flying target.
Commander, using ancient hand gesture, I have made cowardly commandant, how you say, spill the beans? I have exact location of Ivan's cell. It is in the east wing of so-called sanitarium.
Just got some nasty flash traffic, Commander.
You Western fools are 2 moves from checkmate. I have your pawn and the Red King in his ivory tower. Kill me if you can. I promise you, no less.
That transmission came from a chopper exiting this airspace. Bad news, I just lost them in the radiation.
Unless he has a sudden change of heart, I'd say they're on a beeline to Moscow.
Don't worry. We'll find your friend, Nick, and bring death to his jailers.
And you get the guys inside. The key word is overkill. much of this it seems pity to deprive him, especially when we are so close to it.
I am inside the reactor. Feels like home. Glowing floor means I don't need flashlight. Spray death while I ready core, and hoist when I give the signal.
About a fifth of the Earth. You deserve a tall, cool one.
Good news, Chief. The salt mines are fully prepped. Just unload the core in there and forget you ever heard about it. Commander, Tomahawk cruise missiles closing on target. Quickly retrieve the laser designator and employ Ivan to paint the pit for maximum precision. By the way, don't hang around there for a victory cigar. Make a quick evac, because the fireworks could be huge. The Black Hawk's airdrop cargo is about to come under fire at the new LZ. I'll cruise on over there now before they break our new toy. weird. In the old days, they could actually see and touch the people when they killed them. Nowadays, war's all remote control. It's like playing a game. I mean, sometimes I even expect for the bad guys to get up even after they shot. But they never do.
Seconds to impact. Hang in there.
Obviously, reports of her death were unfounded.
Shadow Man was just distracting us until his pet arrived.
This third war of liberation throws two puppets together, dragging both nations into chaos.
With those UN peacekeepers caught in the middle.
If Villa seizes the reactor, her rockets will destroy most of Europe.
Her showing up is already making Ukrainians hitting Scud missiles twitch. Watch your butt.
Mop up this mess, Commander, and head to Moscow. Our worst fears are coming true.
We've got a potential political nightmare. And I hate political nightmares. We must keep UN peacekeeper casualties within an acceptable range. Deploy Armada to stage fighting retreat, monitor, and extract when the situation is no longer viable.
Weird intel, Commander. It's as if tanks are rising from the grave. I'm now showing 2 new armor formations in the northeast, and I've codenamed them Frank and Stein. I thought you would dig that.
Captain, let me help my international brothers. I will show them how to defeat Villa.
Intel. Villa's 2 forces, codenamed Vampire and Zombie, are not likely to show discipline in the hot zone.
Knock out bridges to set them on a collision course with Ukrainians' forces.
Massive self-inflicted casualties are projected to ensue in a chaotic frenzy. This is gonna be a monster mash.
merchants who cheat tourists.
You will find Scout Commander in a scout car next to church in Central Village. Everybody knows he waits there at this time of day for his mistress. Let's give him a real hot date.
You're in the land of the living dead. This zone is laced with tripwires to activate hidden tanks and scuds. If you open the coffin, you better stake what rises up.
Circle behind them and blind their radar before prosecuting your attack.
Scuds belch smoke before they launch. When you see them smoking, get stoking, Commander. Party toy, Commander. Punches like a cannon, fires like an Uzi. I'm translating for the Scud Commander in back. Now he's giving up his Scuds for his secrecy about his mistress. Problem is, his boys are getting real itchy trigger fingers, so let's scratch him.
enemy prepares to fire killer B rocket units. They will wipe out my command. Please, either attack rockets or evacuate my troops now, or there will be total slaughter.
Monitor your bio-Geiger lens, Chief. Your nuke vision should detect if friendly forces are being cooked. The longer they're in the fire, the more they'll fry.
Bottom line, if you see UN troops begin to glow, evacuate them immediately.
Bad news, Commander. This isn't gonna be virtual fun. Villa just arrived with her tank corps, codenamed Werewolves. We expect their truck to go on through the southeast passes with little resistance.
The Black Widow is now entering the battle. We believe she will drive toward the graveyard to the north to flank Ukrainian.
Best intel indicates that she is driving an extremely well-armored black T-80 with a red turret. Don't get bit, Commander.
While you're bug hunting, do dispatch her elite guard, codenamed the Tarantulas, with extreme prejudice.
Got some interesting intel. Ukrainian is hiding out in the old boneyard near your kickoff point. He seems to be unaware that Villa is heading right for him.
We projected Villa's black T-80 will encounter Ukrainian's white command tank. All you have to do is help him fight to the bloody end. We just might kill two birds with one stone.
There's only one sure way to kill a creature who would not die. You have found it, Commander. All the dead in the next world are about to rejoice.
Most of Transylvania is being hastily evacuated today as a severe case of cow fever spreads throughout this rural community. The deadly disease is forcing the indefinite quarantine of hundreds of square miles. Things are going crazy around here. Move it.
Ditch my chopper. So get up here and extract me from this fleabag hotel. Minutes matter. They've diverted the Mayday parade and tanks are rolling through the streets. A major coup unfolds as we speak. Conspirators include the Russian mob, hardline military, and ex-KGB. We're going to evacuate the Russian cabinet from Tolstoy House before they fall victim to the coup. If you do not succeed in this, nothing we've done so far matters.
I did not ever expect to bring destruction to this city.
I'm not a political man. That's Andrea's beat. But this is clearly worst-case scenario time.
Shadow Man has merged the nightmare power of the Russian mafia, the military power of the KGB, and the political power of the hardliners to crush the democratic movement.
If he succeeds, he'll throw the world into a new dark age. Saponov's mobsters have looted southern Moscow and are trucking the riches to their monastery fortress under the cover of the coup. Stop them. If the Shadow Man gets control of all the wealth in Moscow, hearts and minds will follow. It is our belief that locals will mistake your Apache for a Russian Havoc. Capture is not an option. If you go down for the count, we hit the destruct button. We can't afford to leave any trace of our involvement. We need plausible deniability. Commander, avoid making the mistake I once made, underestimating Andrea Gray. She's not what she appears to be. She's a trained operative. News is just her cover. I don't even know who she really is, but I do know she's been active for several years. Intelligence lore has it her charms prevented a sneak attack through the Fulda Gap moments before the Soviet Empire collapsed. Working in deep cover, she had also infiltrated the Kremlin and got on intimate terms with many members of the current government. We are counting on her connections to keep us alive. We're low on local intel, so you're gonna have to find your own. The Russian mafia speaks the international language. Cash. Try to buy their services. Secure valuables and deploy them to a location where they will encourage a feeding frenzy. When in mobland, do as the mobsters do. Best weapon you have is greed. Secure any local loot and deploy it as bait. Dropped outside prisons, it'll lure guards from their posts. It's the oldest hunting trick in the world. Worked in the Stone Age, works now.
Ivan grew up here. He knows this city better than you know your own apartment. Drain his hair, drive everything he knows. Just point and listen. According to the hacked military files, it looks like the KGB built a beta version of our quick letter.
Many such things happen during Imperial death throes. If such device exists, it will be in Factory District.
Bad news, Commander. Both of your LZs are teaming with ex-KGB and mob vermin. Pest eradication will be necessary before you can land there in comfort.
Commander, the cabinet members will only emerge from hiding if somebody they trust escorts them, and they trust Andrea. Extract her from her present location and redeploy her to the Tolstoy house.
Okay, Commander, come and pick me up. We need to do an emergency evac on the whole Russian cabinet. Be very careful. The KGB is all over this place, like ants on a picnic table. I'll be on the hotel rooftop. Let's make it a fast extract.
Andrea, your taste seems to have declined. I believe that hotel was only given 2 stars in the latest travel guide.
I give up, Commander. There's no way to lock this guy out. If I didn't know better, I'd think he was one of us, but I just can't home in on his signal.
Commander. It's time to stop reporting the news and start making it.
Your vehicle trade test Kremlin leaders. Fools never thought tanks could turn. That building is like a woman. It looks innocent, but it hides many surprises.
I'm going right in the front door. Cover me. It's gonna be like herding cats. These guys are as ready as they're ever gonna be. I'll cover, you wince. Get me last.
Cabinet member, Ace. Don't kill any more of them.
Bad news. Yeltsin isn't here. The cabinet man said he's trapped in the Kremlin bell tower, surrounded by two forces. Let's pull him out!
Bad news, Chief. The trucks leaving that factory are loaded with the latest in fertilizer bombs, and I don't think they're for farming. We'll upload new mission information.
Vehicles are packed with high explosives. Your mission is to stop them without igniting their payload. Precision target the cab and respect their potential blast range. Choose your point of attack so that incapacitated vehicles do not block bridges.
outrageous. I think they're gonna ram Scud trucks from the parade into Kremlin walls, using them like high-tech battering rams. If they're not careful, it's gonna be a big mushroom. I'll put more in your mission update.
If ex-KGB armored forces penetrate the Kremlin walls, the president dies. If the Russian president dies, the world is at DEFCON 1. Do not let armored forces inside.
Eyes on the skies. Intel suggests elite airborne units are closing on combat area. Life's getting real exciting in the bell tower. Enemy forces are ready in mobile rocket launchers to blow down the Kremlin walls. Forces east and west of Yeltsin are prepping for a simultaneous strike. I have an incoming helicopter assault from the northeast. I show one hip troop chopper with a couple Havocs and escort. Looks like they're hunting Yeltsin.
Fly escort for Yeltsin's vehicle. Clear the road ahead of him. If he's nailed, it's over.
Bad news, Commander. I just checked the files. Yeltsin hasn't driven a car in 30 years.
Fortunately, that thing is well armored.
I've got Andrea on Riskcom. She'll give you a passenger play-by-play. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
I gotta say this for Andrea. I admire her courage.
Yeltsin. Swat any flies that show up. I got Yeltsin. Cover us. We're heading for the limo.
Just great! Our getaway car exploded! Wait, where's Yeltsin running to?
I think our boys got a way out, Andrea. Follow him. Yeltsin must have the keys to his personal recreational vehicle hidden near the bell tower. Commander, they can make a run for it if you give them air cover. Check your mission data for more.
Yeltsin insists on driving.
Here with Option President. We're in grave danger. He's planning to drive. We're being fired at. Cover us while we try and find a way.
About it, I'm gonna deserve a medal for this. We need a hole in the gate. Save ammo. See if anybody loaded the Emperor cannon. Armored cars pulling up. Turn right. Fast! Give us cover! We're cut off. Armored car dead ahead. Toast it before its friends show up. We've got a little problem down here. I'd appreciate it if you'd service it.
I hang Yui.
We've got a traffic jam between the bridges. Why don't you give him a little road service? Why don't you send in the wire-guided tow truck?
What? No hands! I have right of way.
Save your ammo. Boris here is getting the feel of the road.
Oh, where are turn signals? Go fast! Watch out! I need burger.
I don't believe it. Boris is stopping off for a Borst burger.
Start.
We've identified an operational airfield. It's the old strip in the northwest sector of the city. Ironically, where Shadow Man touched down. There are 2 737s waiting.
Make that one 737 on the airfield. Get there before the enemy can blow it up.
We negotiate celebrity fee. I have insurance. Where are stop signs?
Okay, Commander. If you've got the right stuff, now's the time to show it.
I can't tell whether he's the best driver in the world or the worst. Making a run for the airport, keep us covered.
The KGB's still on our tail. Get him off, Commander.
Thank you, Andrea.
We've got tanks coming in. Get over there and divert them.
Cool. You lead their plane. I think you know what to do.
More forces are arriving from the south. I need an ETA for the APCs from the Russian White House, Hack.
Bad news for the commander. Looks like the suckers will arrive before projected takeoff time.
The vehicles must be stopped. Do you read me? Eliminate them at all costs. Bribe the mob to help, if you have to.
Airborne, mission accomplished. We got new orders. Nail the pawns and drag Shadow Man into the light.
Unless you've been living in a tent, you know the mob runs Moscow. The problem is that their leader, Alexei Kaponov, doesn't have the military muscle for a full coup. I suspect a stealth operation in the guise of the Shadow Man.
Commander, capture Kaponov alive. Resist the temptation to do otherwise. We must confirm the Shadow Man's identity. And don't let him fall into the river. His body armor's like a cement overcoat.
Believe it or not, good news. I've been tracking every guy in Moscow with a $1,000 suit, and they've been all going to the same place. I'm betting, big time, that it's a mobster central. Get moving. They are.
life.
If Kaponov isn't the Shadow Man, then he has to come from the remnants of the KGB, probably in the person of their leader Boris Moranovsky.
Moranovsky is a coward. You won't get him away from the building, so you'll have to get the building away from him. Rubble is HQ.
Psychological intel. This boy has a pathological fear of animals.
Commander, you might consider baiting the bear with a bear. Please note that I never issued this order.
He says he's not Shadow Man, doesn't know who Shadow Man is, but he says he will confess to being Shadow Man anyway if we spare him. I think we should feed him to the bear. I'm convinced he's not Shadow Man. He says old KGB leader Yuri Vatsiznov must be such man. He claims Shadow Man hides in secret bunker in Lenin's tomb. Now can I feed him to the bear? Just kidding.
Believe it or not, you're not supposed to shoot that guy, Chief.
Report with extreme confidence Vatsiznov is not here. I only find the obvious in Lenin's tomb. A morbid joke to us from Shadow Man.
If Vatsiznov isn't here, then where is he?
I don't want to lick the stripe off anybody's candy cane, but it looks like a private plane is about to take off from Red Square.
That's him! Do not let him get away this time, Commander.
Wait, General. Nick's implanted homing device indicate that he's on board that plane too.
Can't take any more chances with Shadow Man. Take it down. But somehow, you're gonna have to get Nick out too.
By process of elimination, Yuri Vatsiznov must be the Shadow Man.
I don't buy it, but there's nothing else for sale.
I have a confirm on Nick's location. He's with Vatsiznov.
The mission is obvious. Finish off Vatsiznov at Lenin's tomb and winch in Nick.
I'm sorry we won't get to interrogate Vatsiznov.
Not an option, Andrea.
Open a hole in the plane so Nick can do a wing walking act, Chief. Shadow Man do the red square as a runway.
Take me, fools. The game is ended.
What do you make of it?
He knows as we do that one way or another this thing is gonna end very soon.
Oh my God. I don't believe it.
What?
ICBMs are rising up out of Red Square.
There was a minor disruption during Russia's annual May Day parade today as a small earthquake rumbled through the heart of Moscow. No Russian officials were hurt, although some damage was inflicted to the outer walls of the Kremlin. A few buildings and a television tower were destroyed by gas fires. Meanwhile, at the Moscow Zoo, the Russian bears seemed particularly upset by today's unsettling events.
Mr. Yeltsin, I'm not here to debate with you. I'm here to explain how things will work. If you don't want to play ball, I'm sure that the vice chairman will. We've had to deal with this very unpleasant situation before. Trotsky didn't understand, but Lenin did. And what is your answer?
I understand.
Think about it, Andrea. Strike changed the course of history with one chopper.
Yeah, and I'm damn glad I was wrong about 0% chance of asset return. We got the commander back in one piece.
That was my kind of suicide mission. The tragedy is that mankind will never know what the commander did for us.
But I do. And I'd like to thank the commander personally.
So would I. But we both know the rules.
You know what rules are for.
Forget it, Andrea. He's headed to R&R in a classified location. What about Nick?
I don't know. For a minute there, it occurred to me that he might even...
Don't even say it.
Don't look now, folks, but it's some crossing the synchronicity threshold.
There isn't enough military force left in Russia to cross that threshold.
Problem ain't in Russia, General. It's Asia.
Damn. Inform the commander that his R&R might be cut short. Andrea, I need political background. Hack, keep an eye on the situation. We've got to be ready for Asia strike.